nice to meet you, Tyler. I'm an occupational therapist. Do you know what occupational therapy is?
Kind of. Some of my doctors told me about it whenever I was in the hospital a few days ago.
Okay, so what exactly did your doctor tell you?
My doctor told me that the occupational therapist would kind of help me learn how to do things that I used to be able to do with my right arm or partly with my right arm, but now I have to learn how to do with my left arm, just things that I kind of do every day.
Okay, that's exactly right. So an occupational therapist is really someone who helps you learn how to better care for yourself, whether that be playing with your friends or your siblings, cooking meals, taking a shower or a bath, just things that you like to do that are more routinely and you do on a day-to-day basis. And we also help with learning to find new ways to do things. So occupational therapists are kind of the fun ones.
Okay, that sounds fun.
Yeah. So tell me a little bit about yourself.
So I like to spend a lot of time with my brothers. I have 3 older brothers, and so we like to play together a lot. And whenever I'm at home, I really like to play video games a lot. But that's something that's a little bit harder for me to do right now because I can't hold my controllers as well.
Of course.
But other than that, we have a dog that we have at our house, and I like to spend time with him a lot.
I have a dog too, and I like to always go to the park and play.
I love our dog so much.
That's good. So tell me a little bit about what happened.
So
your accident.
Yeah, so one day we were just like on a boat, and there just happened to be an accident. Also hit my head really hard, and they told me I had a concussion. And there was a couple other things that happened to me, and my body kind of hurt a lot, but my arm just got hurt really bad, and they weren't able to fix it at all and reattach wherever the propeller had messed it up. And so I just had to lose part of my arm below my elbow. And so it was really frustrating, and I'm kind of scared, honestly.
So are you feeling okay since then? I know that's kind of a lot to take in.
It makes me sad because there were a lot of things that I did like doing that I know is going to be a lot harder now, and I learned how to write with my right hand, and now I'm going to have to relearn all of that too.
Well, that's okay. Don't worry. As the occupational therapist, I'm going to help you figure out ways that you can do all of those things again, okay?
Okay.
All right, so one thing that we're going to do here today is this assessment. It's called the COPM, and it's not hard. I'm just going to ask you, it's mainly to just show you where you struggle with doing certain things, and when we figure that out, we're going to see how happy they make you and how well you think that you do with them, and we're just going to create some goals for when we start working together to get you to be more independent. How does that sound?
Sounds good. Okay.
Awesome. So it goes on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being you feel not satisfied at all, you feel like you don't do well at it, and 10 being you feel great about it and you do it really well. But we'll get to that in a little bit. So tell me about your family.
So my mom and my dad actually aren't together anymore, and so I don't get to live with my dad. But I do get to live with my mom and my 3 older brothers.
Okay, and what do you and your brothers do together?
We play a lot, and sometimes we play our video games together. And we'll take our dog out to play and everything. But sometimes I like to be apart from them, but really we're pretty close.
Okay, so when you are at home, do you do any chores around the house that your mom or your brothers have you help with? So tell me about those chores that you do.
So my brothers do probably most of the chores because I am the youngest actually, but because my mom is at work a lot, she does make us all do certain things around the house to help her.
So what do you do exactly?
Some of the things I do is like help clean up the table after we eat. I feed the dog sometimes and sometimes let the dog outside. And other than that, I kind of do stuff that my brothers tell me to do, like help with the laundry.
I'm a slow writer, Tyler.
That's okay.
Okay, so when you do these things like doing the laundry, helping with the table, washing the dishes, all of those things, do you find that you have any trouble with those things? And if you do, what kind of trouble do you have with them?
So I never had any trouble before at all with them. I used to be too short to reach the sink, but I've gotten a little better at that now. I haven't been able to really do much of that lately, and I just got out of the hospital a few days ago. So
They're letting you
chores the past few days.
Well, that's nice of her. Nobody likes chores.
No, I really don't.
Okay, so how is school going for you?
School's going pretty good. I sometimes struggle a little bit, and I'm not really the smartest in my class, but it goes okay. I like doing some of the fun activities we get to do there.
What's your favorite thing to do in school?
My favorite thing to do in school is probably recess. But if I had to choose something that we do in the classroom, I really like whenever we get to read stories with our teacher.
What kind of stories does she read?
It kind of changes every now and then. Like sometimes if it's around a holiday, she'll read us a story that has to do with Halloween or Christmas or something.
Okay, fun. So have you been back to school yet?
I haven't been back to school yet.
Are you nervous for school?
I'm nervous because I'm kind of worried about what the other kids are going to say about me.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, that's okay. We're going to work on all of it. Okay, so we're going to start this assessment. So I want you to try hard and think of 5 things that you would like to work on while you're with me. What do you think? Can you think of one?
One thing I want to work on is something I feel kind of embarrassed that I have trouble using the restroom now.
That's okay. That's very common.
And then another thing that I sometimes struggle with, so I love to eat, but a lot of the time now I find it hard if I'm eating food that I have to cut. It's really hard for me to make that happen. If it's something like chicken that's harder to cut through instead of like a vegetable where I can use one hand, I can't use both of my hands now. So some foods it's really hard for me to eat. So I want to learn how I can eat better during meals.
Okay.
And then I also want to kind of figure out how to, since I love playing video games so much, I want to learn how to do just some of the fun things that I do every day. Again, kind of like that, because I know that usually makes me use both of my hands.
Of course. I feel like that's something that we could figure out. Okay, so that gives me 3 things. Can you think of 2 more things that you kind of struggle with that you'd want a little help with?
Sometimes putting on clothes is really hard now too, especially whenever I have to button pants up. I tried that yesterday and it was really difficult for me to do because I couldn't use both hands to button it.
Okay, so since you've been home from the hospital, have you been putting on overhead shirts or have you been putting on shirts that you can button up in the front?
I've only been putting on shirts that I pull over my head, but my mom has been helping me with that. So I'm kind of nervous about putting on a button-up shirt too, because I kind of was just getting used to doing that with both of my hands, and now only have the one. But aside from that, one more thing that I want to figure out how to do better is when I only have my one hand is actually the chores around the house, because my mom has been working a lot more lately, and I know that when I get older I'm gonna need to help my brothers more with those, and so a lot of them, like washing dishes or doing laundry, are a lot easier to do whenever I have both hands.
Okay. Alright, so let's start from the very beginning. So just to make sure that I understand, you want help with using the restroom, cutting and cooking your food, video games, clothing, and mainly buttoning and zipping up your pants and your jackets, and doing your chores around the house to help your mom and your brothers.
Yes.
Okay, so we're gonna bring this out. I've got 2 little charts here. This says satisfaction and this says performance. Alright, so we're gonna go through these 5 activities and you're just gonna give me scores on how well you think you do and how satisfied you are, how happy you are with how well you do them.
Okay.
Does that sound good?
Yes, sounds good.
Alright, so tell me about using the restroom right now, today, like if you were to score yourself today, how well do you think that you do this activity?
I think I do it at about a 3 right now.
Okay.
Just because I can do it, but it takes me a lot longer, and sometimes if I have to wipe or something, it's a lot more difficult.
Okay, and so because this is a 3, how happy are you with that?
Really a 2, because I know I'm able to do it, but I know that it's something that's it's really, really difficult for me to do, and it makes me feel really discouraged whenever I try.
Okay, well luckily that's something that you do every day, so we'll get lots of practice with that. Okay, so the next thing I want you to self-rate yourself on is cutting food and cooking. So let's do one thing at a time. So can you tell me how well you cut food now?
Probably about a 4 because I know I can do it, and especially with certain foods. Like yesterday, I ate some soft carrots and I was able to cut through those okay, but I also had chicken on my plate and that was really difficult to cut through.
Did your mom help you when that happened?
My mom helped me, and then in
Okay.
the hospital last week, whenever it happened, one of the other nurses helped me do it.
Okay, awesome. So when you're cooking, how well do you think you do that?
I don't do a whole lot of it. I'm kind of just learning, and my brothers usually do most of it.
Of
But
course.
sometimes I get to help. But some of it is easy for me to do, but a lot of it they do with both hands. Whenever if they hold a pan and a spatula, and that's something I was just learning how to do with their help, and so I can't do that anymore.
It sounds like they help you a lot. That's
They
really nice.
They
of
do
them.
help me a lot, yeah.
Okay, so based off of this score that you gave yourself, how happy are you and satisfied that you can perform well with these activities?
Probably also a 4, just because kind of like with the toileting, I know I can do it, but it takes me longer, and it's only with certain kinds of foods that I can't really cut through them well.
Alrighty. So tell me about video games. How well do you think you do these since your accident?
So some of them, like the Wii, I can do some of that with one hand.
Yeah.
So, but then others like my Xbox, I only have the one hand, and so I can't really do anything with my right hand. So probably a 5, just because I feel like I can do half of the things I want to with it.
Okay, and so tell me about your satisfaction.
My satisfaction is probably at a 3 because
Okay.
most of my favorite games are on the Xbox, and
Yeah.
I can't play them.
Okay, so then let's move on to clothing. Tell me how well you think you perform your clothing, or getting dressed in the morning or at night.
So I feel like I'm at a 4 on my clothing because some things I can put on. Socks aren't too hard for me with
That's
one
good.
hand. Yeah, it made me really happy to find out that I could do that okay. But a lot of the time, especially since it's kind of getting to where it's going to be colder and I know I have to wear jeans, I'm kind of worried about how I'm going to be able to put those on with the zipper and the button.
Right.
And so I feel like I would put it at about a 4 as
Okay.
far as how good I am at doing it.
Okay, and so how satisfied are you with your 4 in clothing performance?
Probably at about a 5 actually, just because sometimes my mom would still help me with some things. Just since I couldn't button my shirts super well yet, I sometimes have trouble with that. So she still was helping me with some things, especially whenever we go to church, because we do go to church every single weekend. And so whenever I would put on my nice button-up shirts, she would still sometimes help me with that. But some of the things that I could do by myself, I'm frustrated about. So I feel like it's at about a 5.
Okay, and so last one, tell me about your rated performance for chores, and then tell me how satisfied you are with that.
Okay. So I feel like for my performance with chores, I'm at about a 3.
Okay.
Because a lot of them I was still figuring out how to do before I lost my arm, and now they become even more difficult. But I'm still able to do some things like whenever I was in the hospital, I was able to still pick up my plate and move it, and so I know that I would be able to help clear the table, but I know that folding laundry, especially like with towels and stuff, which is one of the things that I sometimes do, it would be harder to fold a towel.
Okay, and so how happy and satisfied are you with this?
I would say that I'm also about a 3 because I really don't like doing chores a whole lot, but at the same time, I'm kind of sad that I won't be as able to help my mom and my brothers with them just because it's harder to do with the one hand. So I'm sad about that. Yeah.
Okay, alright Tyler. Well, excuse me, I just coughed a little bit. Alright Tyler, well I'm gonna look at this and later we're gonna create some goals for when we start working together.
Okay.
And then later on we'll do this again and see if your performance and satisfaction has changed at all, okay?
Sounds good.
Do you have any questions for me?
No, I don't think I do.
Alright, it was good to see you, Tyler.
It was nice to see you too.